All right, strap in, everyone.
Mhm.
Today we're diving deep into some pretty wild territory. The idea that death might not actually be the end.
Yeah, we're talking about Dr. Takshi's Tanisaka's book, Death Doesn't Exist.
It's generating a ton of buzz, and for good reason.
I mean, what's really grabbing people's attention is that Dr. Tanisaka is tackling this age-old question, what happens after we die?
Right.
But from a scientific angle.
Which is really different.
Yeah, he's a respected physicist using quantum mechanics to explore what happens to consciousness after death.
Exactly. He's not just some, mystic up on a mountaintop.
Right.
This guy's got serious science cred.
He does.
He even worked at the same lab that handled materials from the Manhattan Project.
It's true.
So he's not coming at this from a purely spiritual perspective.
Exactly. And it's kind of refreshing to see someone trying to approach this mystery with, some actual scientific rigor.
Yeah.
Instead of just relying on faith or just anecdotes.
Right. Because, let's face it, both science and religion have kind of dropped the ball on this one.
Yeah.
Science wants hard proof, which is, understandably hard to come by when you're talking about the afterlife.
Right.
And religion often relies on faith without much in the way of, evidence.
And then you've got those near-death experiences that throw another wrench in things. People report these amazing experiences when they're clinically dead.
Right.
But science hasn't really been able to fully explain them.
Yeah, it's like everyone has a different piece of the puzzle, but no one can quite figure out how to put it all together.
Right.
So how does Dr. Tanisaka even begin to approach this?
Well, he introduces this concept called the zero-point field,
Okay.
which stems from quantum physics, and it really kind of stretches our understanding of reality.
All right, I'm intrigued. Break it down for me.
Okay, so think about the coldest, emptiest space you can possibly imagine.
Like nothingness.
Right. Like so empty and cold that classical physics would say there's no energy left whatsoever.
Okay.
But quantum physics says, hold on, there's still something there.
There is.
And that something is the zero-point field. Even in this seemingly empty void, there's this residual energy just buzzing with potential.
So it's like this hidden energy source that's kind of like permeating everything.
Yeah, precisely. And Dr. Tanisaka's theory is that this zero-point field isn't just some random energy source. It's a massive, vast repository of information. He thinks it holds the key to understanding consciousness and what happens after we die.
Okay, now we're getting into the good stuff. So how does the zero-point field connect to our consciousness?
Well, he argues that consciousness is essentially information, a specific pattern of energy.
Okay.
And since energy can't be destroyed, only transformed, he suggests that this information, this essence of who we are, persists even after our physical bodies die.
So instead of just vanishing, our consciousness gets absorbed into this zero-point field.
That's the idea.
Okay.
And this is where things get even more interesting.
then more.
Dr. Tanisaka suggests that this consciousness doesn't just float around aimlessly in the zero-point field. He proposes that it exists as a three-dimensional holographic projection.
Hold on. A hologram. Like those things we used to get on cereal boxes.
Well, not exactly. He's talking about a dynamic, constantly evolving representation of our individual essence.
Okay.
It's not a static image, but more like a living, breathing blueprint of our consciousness.
Okay, that's pretty wild. So we're basically holographic projections just hanging out in this cosmic information field.
Yeah.
But if everyone's consciousness is in the zero-point field, what's that even look like? Are we bumping into each other's holograms?
Right.
Is there some kind of cosmic traffic jam?
That's a question that Dr. Tanisaka tries to address in his book.
Okay.
He dives into how this field might be structured
Okay.
and how our individual consciousness interacts with, this vast sea of information within it.
All right, I am on the edge of my seat. Let's dive even deeper into this mind-blowing theory and see what Dr. Tanisaka has to say about the nature of this holographic afterlife.
He explains that the zero-point field operates a lot like a hologram.
Oh.
Like even if you shatter a holographic plate,
Yeah.
each tiny piece can still recreate that whole image.
Oh, wow.
So it's not like our consciousness is stored in one specific spot.
Okay.
It's distributed throughout this entire field.
So it's kind of like everywhere and nowhere all at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that's a pretty mind-bending concept, but I can kind of see how that would make sense when we're talking about, like, accessing information from any point in time or even, like, glimpses into potential futures.
Right.
Okay, but hold on. I'm trying to wrap my head around how information even exists in this field.
Okay.
Is it like some kind of cosmic code or something?
Well, he proposes that it's stored as wave patterns.
Okay.
Remember how everything at the quantum level, even light and energy, can act as both particles and waves.
Oh, right. That whole wave-particle duality thing, like
Exactly.
from physics class?
Yeah, so imagine these waves of information constantly interacting and interfering with each other within the zero-point field.
Right.
And Dr. Tanisaka believes our consciousness, also a pattern of energy waves, can resonate with these information waves,
Okay.
allowing us to tap into specific knowledge.
So our consciousness is like a radio receiver
Yeah,
tuning into different frequencies in the zero-point field to access information.
exactly.
That's a cool analogy.
It is.
Okay, so that leads us to one of the more controversial aspects of Dr. Tanisaka's theory, how he explains things like psychic abilities and precognition, the ability to see the future.
Right.
So how does he explain that without resorting to, all that mystical mumbo-jumbo?
Well, he suggests that these individuals, they aren't tapping into some supernatural force,
Okay.
but rather they have a heightened ability to perceive and interpret information from the zero-point field.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about how it could potentially contain information about all possibilities, including future events?
Yeah, like having access to all the alternate endings of a movie before it even plays out.
That's a great way to put it. Dr. Tanisaka believes these individuals, either naturally or through training,
Right.
can resonate with these future possibilities more easily,
Okay.
giving them glimpses into what might be.
But hold on, if the future is all laid out in this field, does that mean we don't have free will?
Yeah.
Like, is everything already predetermined?
Well, that's a huge question, and one Dr. Tanisaka tackles head on.
Okay.
He argues that while the zero-point field holds information about potential futures, it doesn't dictate which path we'll take.
So it's more like a map showing all the possible routes,
Yeah,
but we're still the ones driving the car.
exactly. Our choices, our intentions still play a crucial role in shaping which of those potential futures becomes reality.
Okay, that makes me feel a little less like a puppet of fate.
Yeah.
But, if we can tap into this field and potentially see the future, why aren't we all winning the lottery and predicting earthquakes?
Well, according to Dr. Tanisaka, accessing and interpreting information from the zero-point field is a very nuanced and complex process.
Okay.
It's not as simple as just tuning in and getting a clear picture. There's a lot of noise
Right.
and interference and the inherent uncertainty of the quantum world to contend with.
So it's more like trying to pick out a faint signal through a ton of static.
Yeah, very apt analogy.
Okay.
Even for those who might have a natural ability, it takes practice, focus, and maybe even a bit of luck to accurately access and understand information from the zero-point field.
Speaking of practice and focus,
Yeah,
Dr. Tanisaka does mention techniques that can help us connect with the zero-point field.
he does.
Didn't he talk about things like meditation and hypnosis?
Yes. He suggests those practices can quiet the mind
Okay.
and potentially enhance our ability to perceive information from the field.
Right.
Remember, our minds are constantly bombarded with sensory input and internal chatter, which can make it really hard to pick up on subtle signals.
It's like trying to hear a whisper in a really crowded room. You
Exactly.
need to quiet down all that background noise to actually listen.
You got it.
So meditation and hypnosis, by calming the mind,
Yeah,
might create a more receptive state,
exactly.
allowing us to access information that's usually drowned out by, our everyday mental activity.
Right.
This all ties in nicely with what we've talked about, the Akashic records
Yes.
and the law of attraction, right?
Indeed.
It's fascinating to see how all these seemingly disparate concepts
Yeah.
from different traditions and disciplines
Right.
might actually be interconnected.
Yeah.
So are we saying that accessing the Akashic records, manifesting our desires through the law of attraction, and tapping into Dr. Tanisaka's zero-point field
Mm-hmm.
are all essentially different ways of accessing the same underlying, cosmic network of information?
That's a bold proposition,
It is.
and definitely one worth exploring further.
Yeah.
What's intriguing is that all these concepts suggest that we're not, isolated beings, but fundamentally connected to a larger web of information and energy that permeates the universe.
Okay, my head is officially spinning with all these mind-blowing ideas.
Yeah.
But hold on. I remember reading something in the book about how accessing the zero-point field isn't just about gaining knowledge or seeing the future.
Right.
It's also about tapping into a source of immense creative potential.
Ah, yes. That's a key point.
Yeah.
Dr. Tanisaka argues that the zero-point field isn't just a passive archive of information.
Okay.
It's a dynamic source of creativity and inspiration.
So it's not just a library. It's like a creative workshop.
A wonderful analogy.
Yeah.
He believes that individuals like artists, musicians, and inventors who experience those sudden bursts of inspiration or like groundbreaking ideas
Right.
might be unconsciously tapping into the creative potential of the zero-point field.
So those aha moments aren't just random sparks of genius. They're downloads from the, like, cosmic creative cloud.
That's what Dr. Tanisaka suggests. He believes that by consciously cultivating a connection with the zero-point field,
Okay.
we can all enhance our creative abilities and tap into a wellspring of innovation.
So we're not just talking about predicting the future or remembering past lives.
Right.
We're talking about unlocking a level of creativity that could, like, change the world.
It could.
This is getting seriously exciting.
It is.
Okay, Dr. Tanisaka has presented some pretty radical ideas
Yeah.
about the zero-point field, consciousness, and the nature of reality itself.
He has.
But what's the takeaway for our listeners?
Yeah.
What does he suggest we actually do with all this mind-blowing information?
That's where he gets really practical.
Okay.
He encourages readers to actually explore different techniques for accessing the zero-point field.
Like what?
Things like meditation, mindfulness,
Okay.
even creative visualization.
So it's not just about, like, understanding these concepts intellectually. It's
Yeah.
about actively engaging with them.
It-
It's like setting an intention for your meditation practice or, like, focusing your thoughts during a manifestation exercise.
Precisely. Dr. Tanisaka suggests the more we focus our intention on connecting with the zero-point field,
Huh.
the more likely we are to experience its effects, whether that's, enhanced intuition, bursts of creativity,
Right.
or even a deeper sense of peace and interconnectedness.
So it's kind of like building a muscle. The more we exercise our ability to connect with the zero-point field,
Yeah.
the stronger that connection becomes.
I like that analogy. He also emphasizes the importance of, living in the present moment.
Okay.
He argues that dwelling on the past or worrying about the future can distract us from the here and now,
Okay.
which is where our true power lies.
That makes a lot of sense, because if the zero-point field contains information about all possibilities, past, present, and future,
Right.
then being fully present might allow us to access, like, a wider range of that information.
It's a compelling thought.
Yeah.
He also suggests that by releasing our attachments to specific outcomes, we become more open to receiving guidance and inspiration from the zero-point field.
So it's about surrendering control, trusting the process, and allowing the universe to kind of guide us towards our highest potential.
That's the essence of it. He encourages readers to view life as a journey of discovery, where we're constantly learning, growing, and evolving
Okay.
in alignment with the information and energy we receive from the zero-point field.
It's like we're on this incredible choose-your-own-adventure, but instead of flipping through pages, we're navigating through a cosmic field of infinite possibilities.
What a thought.
That's pretty wild.
It is an exciting prospect.
It is.
Maybe a little daunting, but
Yeah.
Dr. Tanisaka acknowledges that all of this might sound pretty far-fetched.
Sure.
He encourages readers to approach these ideas with an open mind and a willingness to experiment.
So don't just take my word for it. Try it out for yourself.
Exactly. He emphasizes that personal experience is the ultimate test of any theory,
Right.
especially one that challenges our conventional understanding of reality.
So the challenge for our listeners is to take these concepts, experiment with the techniques Dr. Tanisaka suggests, and see what happens.
Exactly.
Who knows? Maybe we'll all start manifesting our dream lives and channeling our inner Einsteins.
It's a possibility worth exploring.
It is.
But even if we don't all become psychic geniuses overnight,
Right.
engaging with these ideas can still have a profound impact on our lives.
I'm thinking about the implications for, like, creativity, problem solving,
Yeah.
even just our overall sense of peace and well-being. If we can tap into this field of infinite potential, who knows what we might achieve.
It's an invitation to step outside the limitations of our current thinking and embrace a more expansive view of ourselves and the universe.
This has been one of the most thought-provoking deep dives we've ever done.
It has.
It really makes you question everything you thought you knew about life, death, and the nature of reality.
It reminds us that there's always more to learn, more to explore,
Yeah.
and that the universe might hold far more mysteries and wonders than we can currently imagine.
And who knows, maybe by tapping into the zero-point field,
Yeah.
we can unlock the answers to some of humanity's biggest questions and even create a brighter future for ourselves and generations to come.
What a powerful thought to end on.
Indeed. So, dear listeners, what resonated with you most from this deep dive? What possibilities has it sparked in your mind? We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences as you explore the concepts we've discussed today. Until next time, Keep your minds open, your curiosity ignited. And remember, the universe is full of infinite possibilities.